We'll get to our next speaker, and I'm pleased to invite Melissa Labrador to come and present. Melissa is with the Pemsik Conservation Mosaic, and she's going to talk to us a little bit more about that. And we have to do a little bit of work with our mic here, so bear with us so we can get some sound on the video. So welcome, Melissa.
First, and then I'll talk.
Oh, okay. I'll put it through.
Telewisi, doak, enivi, aji ukwaram. We are part of Mi'kmaq and located within the Guestwood district. It is here you'll find Pemsik, known locally as Port Jolly, and the heart of the Pemsik Conservation Mosaic Vision. The Pemsik Mosaic Vision is within the southwest Nova Scotia UNESCO Biosphere Reserve, as well as within one of Canada's priority areas for biodiversity conservation. The early Mi'kmaq, my ancestors, navigated these lands by foot and these waters by canoe that connected the interior of Guestwood to its coastal areas.
Sorry.
Is that the end of the first one, or is this an ad happening?
That must be an ad.
Okay. So if you just pull the mic away.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Much money for electric bill? You can actually
Not
get
affiliated with him.
Current archaeological evidence indicates that Pemsik is a heritage landscape of unique importance, which has a history spanning 13,000 years. The earliest archaeological evidence from the region comes from the Sable River estuary, where a projectile point was recently recovered and dates approximately 13,000 years. What is understood today and shared as traditional ecological knowledge is because it was everyday life for my ancestors. Through generations of observation, they knew their place and their role on this earth. their traditions, culture, and spirituality was based on the incredible respect that they had for Mother Earth and all her creations. They knew that their actions, no matter how small, would have lasting effects on their future generations. They lived in a respectful way so that we would be here today. Our traditional ecological knowledge was passed down through generations by waves of oral traditions. That knowledge was infused in ceremonies, songs, stories, and legends.
My ancestors lived here. Their footsteps came and went with the tide. If you listen on the breeze, you can hear their whispers. If you close your eyes, you can feel and see their memories. This land is important. These waters are important. This landscape is your storybook waiting to be sailed. Let's honor this sacred place.
The Indigenous-led vision for Pemsik is of a coordinated and collaborative conservation area that brings together existing initiatives and works to fill gaps in terrestrial and marine protection. Indigenous leadership and protection of archaeological sites is foundational to Pemsik. Pemsik is a vitally important archaeological landscape where my ancestors made their lives and created their history, my history, for 13,000 years. The landscape of the Pemsik area has changed through time, but it still remains sacred to my people. There are many layers to an ecosystem that include terrestrial and marine. My ancestors see no boundary between terrestrial and marine spaces. They understood that what happened to one affected the other. Filling conservation gaps and supporting Indigenous perspectives of ecosystem connectivity can help achieve commitments to biodiversity protection, protected areas, and reconciliation. The Pemsik mosaic vision of conservation works because it includes everyone. Most importantly, it includes Mother Earth and her creations. And it recognizes that our future generations depend on what we do today. Nugami is grandmother in Olno. Her presence is felt along the shorelines of Anko'tmu'kl. She can be seen dancing on the glacially polished rock along the edges of the lake where my ancestors lived. Nugami, grandmother, is as old as creation. She is the energy, the connection that brings us all together. It is through her journey from the interior of Anko'tmu'kl to the coastal landscape of Pemsik and beyond that we learn the lessons she shares, the traditional ecological knowledge she carries, and how, through the Pemsik, Mawa'tasikl, Anko'tmu'kl, we have a place and an opportunity by working together collectively and collaboratively to ensure our future generations have the connectivity of terrestrial, marine, and our sacred sites preserved.
All right, I wanted to play the two videos to give you an idea of what I do. I'm the lead for the Pemsik, Mawa'tasikl, Anko'tmu'kl, which is a conservation initiative in Guestwick, so this end of Nova Scotia. The map that you see here, Nugami, or the petroglyph image in Anko'tmu'kl is known as grandmother, or Nigami, is kind of the essence behind why the map is shaped the way it is. The terrestrial part is the green, the upper part, and then the marine component is her dress, or the blue part. It extends about 100 kilometers offshore. The terrestrial goes to the Tobeatic. From a Mi'kmaq perspective, when I think of conservation, I don't think of things stopping. I come from a forestry family, I come from a fishing family, so it's important that we continue to do the things that that sustained us, our livelihoods on the land and on the water. So although we're in pre-feasibility for the marine component, the vision is still kind of unfolding, and it's through engagement, through talking to folks, through organizations, through many people that have an interest in this space. The story of Nugami, or the vision for this conservation mosaic, will unfold. I have, big vision of some of the terrestrial part, which is the old Bowater lands in back of Rossignol. I'd love to see community forestry there, sustainable forestry there. There's already a mosaic happening in this area. From one of the videos, you'll notice that there's different colors on a map. Those are initiatives that are currently in this area, whether it's provincial parks, nature conservancy, nature trust, private land easements, conservation easements, wilderness areas. So I'm just working to fill the gaps in a way that honors, my ancestors, but honors those that we live today in these spaces with. So, for me, sustainable fisheries, sustainable forestry are super important, because this is how our relationship with the land and water is through those practices. So, long term, looking at what is an opportunity for forestry in this space is super important to me. So I'm really grateful to be able to be here today and hopefully talk further to some of the folks on what they're doing on their land as well. My father, Todd Labrador, and I built birch bark canoes, so we're always keen to also talk to people in forestry and see where the next birch bark tree is, so we can build another canoe. So, definitely if you ever come across birch on your land, let us know, because there is definitely a decline in the health of birch trees. One of the other videos, that if I had time, talks about the disease we're seeing in white birch. And most people don't consider white birch as anything important. But for Mi'kmaq people, for the last few thousand years that birch has been here, it is vitally important, because it was our lodging and our way of transportation through canoe. So I'm always, this year we're starting, as part of the Pemsik Conservation Mosaic, starting a little bit of a pilot project growing indigenous species, trees and medicinal plants, to start to look at how we can, add to forest regeneration in our communities, how we can kind of slow down coastal erosion by planting native species in those areas that are highly susceptible to coastal erosion, and also in the riparian zones along the rivers and the lakes and streams as well. So I'm happy to chat. I'll be here until the end of the day. I have a booth out back. Stop by at the break. I have a questionnaire that I'd love to have feedback on, and fill out your name for a ballot. And at the end of the year, everybody's name goes into a basket draw, but I do have a couple things with me as well. So think I'm good. I'm under 5 minutes left. So, thank you so much.
Great, thank you, Melissa.